So Quincy, again, I know you've addressed this on your show. Is the Deshaun Watson owners' meetings just wrapped up yesterday in Phoenix, and they're still talking about the Deshaun Watson contract? Are people still ticked off about that?
Yeah, it's interesting, like the outrage from some people about it, because it clearly feels like a shield to me. Like when the Ravens talk about, well, Deshaun Watson's the reason why we can't come to terms on Lamar Jackson, I can't do anything but call a bluff on that, because you had the ability to sign Lamar Jackson a year before Deshaun Watson got that contract, and you chose not to do it. The fact that Deshaun Watson got signed in between there does not make it the Browns' fault that you can't sign him. And honestly, even if that was the case, the Browns ain't supposed to be helping you. So, like, good job, Browns, right? If you get Lamar Jackson out the division. Like, how is that criticism on the Browns for having their quarterback under terms, and not criticism for the Baltimore Ravens for not coming to terms with the quarterback who's 26 years old and won the MVP like 3 years ago? You know, that's your own fault. You know who's not complaining about Deshaun Watson's contract? The Buffalo Bills. You know why? They simply signed their quarterback when he was eligible for an extension. Everybody in the world told the Ravens the longer this can got kicked down the road, the more expensive, and they balked at that. And that's their own fault. That's foolishness on that front office part. And the fact that they're trying to blame it on the Cleveland Browns is like, what does that have to do with anything, what the Browns did for your contract situation? Because you had the opportunity to sign him before that contract got signed, and guess what? You didn't want to do it. And now Deshaun Watson has a fully guaranteed contract, so the price went up. You bet on the price going down for no good reason. The price has never gone down at quarterback, Dave. Like, I don't – and if the price does go down with your quarterback, that's not good. You don't want the price to go down with your quarterback. So, like, what was the thinking there? And now Deshaun Watson has a fully guaranteed contract. The price went up, and you bet on this. You got to pay on it. Like, this is just kicking and screaming and whining and complaining because the Browns did what they needed to do to get a quarterback, and now you ain't willing to do what you want to do. But you don't want the fans to think that. You want the fans to be mad at the Browns for doing that. And it's like, sure, maybe fans will buy that, but if you think about it for more than 2 seconds, it doesn't make sense. One, and two, okay, yeah, it was the Browns' fault for you losing your best player.
You know,
congratulations. We should get credit for that if that's really true.
Jimmy Haslam, was asked at the owners' meeting, would you do it again? He said yes. And he was asked about the contract. He said, look, I can't worry about any other team. I'm trying to do what I think is best for the Browns. That's valid. The Browns looked at it and said, how do we get Deshaun Watson? And the answer was, we guarantee the contract. That's why they did it.
They were competing against forces that they could not they were competing, and I think this gets lost so much in the context of the Deshaun Watson. The two teams that were in the finals for him were Atlanta, where he's from, where he was born and raised, grew up a Falcons fan, and the Carolina Panthers, where's Clemson? In Carolina, right? Where he's a Clemson legend, like brought them to prominence. So those are the two areas he was looking at, right? Somewhere where he's familiar with, and somewhere where he's had great success at. And that's where he was looking at. Cleveland can't move the team to Carolina just to get Deshaun Watson. Cleveland cannot move the team to Atlanta just to get Deshaun Watson. So what did they have to do? Offer him the money, make it so that if he wants to visit Carolina or Atlanta, you could do so on our money. You know what I mean? So that's what they had to do to be able to get Deshaun Watson. Now you got to do what you got to do to get Lamar Jackson. That sounds like business to me. And it sounds like you made a bad business move. Don't blame me for the prices going up. You the one who waited.
So,
you know what I mean?